Welcome everyone to Powerhouse, episode number 2. And today we have three amazing guests as usual. But
Woo!
as usual, also my co-host Diana Mae Fernandez is here with us.
Hi.
So excited to have her and three incredible people tonight. We have Crystal Bell,
Woo!
Pebbles,
Yay!
and Jason Grant. And they're going to be talking to you about what they do and how they build build motivation and success and drive in people. So we're very excited. And Diane, did you want to say something real quick?
Yes, and I was
Oh,
snapping.
you're snapping. Sorry.
I was snapping. No, don't be sorry at all. I'm really excited to have all of these incredible powerhouses here on the show right now. So we have, like Ian said, Crystal Bell, who is one of my amazing girlfriends, and she just has such a powerful story and just a really confident and vibrant person. And every time that I'm with Crystal, my whole entire life just lights up. So I'm excited for you guys to be witness to this story. My girl, Nikki Pebbles. Nikki Pebbles is in the building. I feel like I've known Nikki for my entire life. And she's also resident in New York City. And she is just a firecracker, just a fireball. So I'm really delighted for all of you guys to hear it. And then last but certainly not least, Jason Grant, who is just hands down by far one of the most phenomenal human beings on this planet. I'm just so thrilled that he's able to be part of this show, this powerhouse. I know that he's running around doing a million things. So thank you so much for making time. And so Ian, and I just have to give a really big shout out to my brilliant co-host, Ian Power, the ultimate powerhouse. So guys, thank you so much for being here. And Ian, if you have anything to add onto that.
I'm just going to go ahead and introduce our first guest.
Yes.
Crystal. She is a visionary and a fitness motivator, and also she is a what I call a side hustler. She has what she does during the day and also building her business. And very difficult to do, and takes a lot of motivation. It takes a lot of that success attitude and the drive, and you just can't make the drive up. So I'm going to give it over to Crystal, and thank you very much for being here, Crystal.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me. I mean, I have absolutely been so blessed to be a part of a wonderful group of people whom I'm able to share my story with. So like Ian said, my name is Crystal Bell, and I actually have about 3 different businesses going for me right this second. Let me give you a little bit of background. I am from a small town in West Virginia, and I grew up with a fairly poor family. I mean, we really just did enough to even be able to get by. It was tough times for the most part, even just able to buy school clothes. I obtained my first under-the-table job at a fast food restaurant at the age of 13, and I would work during the summers in order to pay for my school clothes. And ever since then, I really understood the value of a dollar and, you know, what it takes in order to make it in this world. So a little bit more of a background. I graduated with a marketing degree. I have done everything from sales to marketing, but my true passion has always been makeup and fitness. And so when I was 20 years old, I competed in my very first powerlifting show. And it was so funny because I can remember even then, a lot of people and a lot of my friends around me were like, Crystal, what are you doing? Like, let's go party, let's go out, let's do this, let's do that. And I would be the only one out of my peers of my age group that was ready and willing to train and to set goals. And, you know, I had a really hard time transitioning from that group of people to like-minded entrepreneurs and visionaries such as myself. I mean, that in itself is huge. And when you find the right group of people and the right environment for you to thrive, it makes all the difference in the world. So instead of me listening to those people who couldn't share my vision or my truth, I ended up having a lot of followers, a lot of friends, a lot of people watching me, and it really just touched me. I was like, wow, people looking up to me, that's phenomenal. So from then on, I have been nonstop in the gym, and something that I had always wanted to accomplish was to compete in a bikini competition. And I turned 30 last year, and I decided, hey, you know what? I am absolutely going to go for it because we're not getting any younger. And I have to prove this to myself that I still have what it takes in order to do it. And so that's what I did. Not to mention, when I decided to quit my 9-to-5 job, it was 4 years ago. I had this really cushy, just 9-to-5 selling advertising. I got to talk to people. They would send us on these little vacations. And one day I was called into the office, and they ended up cutting one of my commissions. So I said, I pretty much have made you the top salesperson. I've made you more money than anybody else in the company on the East Coast. Like, I'm not going to do this. So I put my foot down, and from then on out, I decided that I was bound and determined to do whatever it took to make my way. And 4 long years later, I've got to tell you, I've spent countless nights, weekends, evenings, traveling expenses all on me. There were days where I didn't even know how I was going to pay for my groceries. And I'm so very humbled to say that I refused to give up. No matter how many times it was so tempting for me to throw all of my vision, all of my dreams and goals away. I was so tempted so many times, but I just kept moving forward. And we just opened a location in a spa. I started doing eyebrows and makeup and spray tanning, and it has just been a dream come true. And if it weren't for my online friends, my supportive family, the people around me cheering me on and supporting me, I mean, I can't stress enough. If you have people around you that are not happy for you, that are not rooting for you, and these can be family members, these can be your best friends, just because you have a truth and a vision does not mean that everyone around you has the same truth. And that's when you got to just brush them off and say, hey, love you, mean it, but see you later, bye. And it really is life-changing. That mentality and that focus, that confidence, it's so contagious, and it absolutely is just phenomenal. I mean, you just keep going, it builds and builds, and there's nothing that can stop you. Nothing at all.
Beautiful, beautiful. Crystal, I know that you have a lot more to share, but I have a question for you because you and I have spent a great deal of time together. There's something about you, and you just have such an infectious character. Like, it's an infectious energy, always so vibrant, positive. Even the way that you're speaking right now online, it's not even 10% of what I witnessed, personally. So, and I know that one of the struggles that you had shared with me before is that a lot of people around you I hope you don't mind me sharing this, they're just happy with where they are in life, that they don't really want to really progress. How do you keep your head, I guess, above waters and keep yourself self-motivated?
Well, you just have to literally keep your eyes on the prize. And whatever cost that is, you must weigh the pros and the cons. You have to pick and choose your battles. What's going to be more important to you at the end of the day? Are you willing to stoop to someone else's goals and level in order to put yours in the back burner so that you can hinder your success and your progress? Or are you just going to keep moving forward? I mean, it's black and white. You're either going to do it or you're not. Mm-hmm. And it all depends on you. What is your priority? What's your focus? I mean, you have to make it happen. Like, life is going to throw you a shit sandwich. Like, I'm just saying, it will. And it's up to you what you do with that. Not everything that goes on around you in your environment warrants a negative reaction. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people get that mixed up with, hey, somebody did this to me, now I have to do this back to them. Well, success does not care. It's either all or nothing.
Okay.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a wonderful story, and the most successful people, I think, go through the hardest times, the toughest times, And if you don't know how to struggle to get to where you want to be, how do you do it, right?
You have to get outside that comfort zone. That's where all the growth is. You have to be uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to just go for it, no matter what.
Beautiful.
I love it. I love it, Crystal. So what is your one biggest takeaway for someone that is really looking for that motivation and that empowerment? Again, every single day you wake up and you're like, okay, this is my routine. This is what I do. This is my lifestyle. And you have a lot of things that are thrown at you, and you always, you just have such a big smile and such a giving and caring heart for everyone. Again, me just being able to experience and witness that firsthand. What can you say to someone that really needs that encouragement, right, and empowerment right this second?
Listen, all of us are on borrowed time. First of all, it is 1,000% up to us how we spend every last waking moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to us to make ourselves fulfilled and happy, and nobody else is going to do it for us. And there is always going to be somebody in the background telling you, showing you, trying to convince you that, there's 1,000,001 reasons why you can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to you to stick it through and just have that laser focus. It's hard to beat someone who does not quit. Bottom line. And it comes from the heart. If you believe in something wholeheartedly, that's all you need. People, I think, just get so mixed up in wanting other people's approval for things. And it's very distracting. You know for yourself you can do something. That's all it is. That's it.
Love it.
I love it.
We love it. We love it, Crystal. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. You are just
having me.
Incredible. Thank you so much. Ian, do you want to add anything to this? And if not, Crystal, please hang out with us till the very end.
Oh, I got you.
Panel discussion.
I am
and
in
have
it to win it.
You are, honey, you're already a winner. You're in the championship circle, okay?
I got this.
Love you. Thank you so much, Crystal, for being here. Mwah.
I just also want to say thank you, and what an amazing story. And I know you've got so much more to tell, and I can't wait for your book that I know you're going to write at some point.
You know this, Ian. It's just a matter of time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So our next up is Nikki Pebbles. She's the founder of the School of Badass Branding, social media strategist, and a branding coach for entrepreneurs. And she has a website, nikkipebbles.com, that I just visited actually today, and it's incredible. So many videos, so much awesome stuff.
Thanks.
Just can't wait to learn more about you, Nikki, and welcome to the show.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm super pumped to be here. So my name's Nikki Pebbles. I am a speaker, a fitness pro in New York City, and a branding ninja. Yes. Hey. So I am also the co-founder of the dance fitness program Kraboomka, and like you said, nikkipebbles.com and Pebble Rebel Media. So my start in the entrepreneurial journey was kind of, I guess, unique in some way. When I went to college, I had full intentions on being a school psychologist, and I majored in psychology and English and really followed the path of what my parents wanted me to do, the very traditional 9 to 5, go to college, all that good stuff. I was like the epitome of the basic white girl. I did not have crazy red hair. I didn't have a shaved side. I was rocking that Starbucks and Uggs and North Face like it was no one's business, boo, and owning it.
I love it.
Owning it. But I was so I just was not confident whatsoever. And, I've danced my entire life. I've always been an athlete and a dancer. But when I went to college, that all stopped because I just figured, well, I'm not going to be really doing anything with that. Let me just solely focus on going to school. And by my, I would say, junior to senior year, not only did I gain the freshman 15, but I probably gained like the freshman 45. Like it was like freshman, junior, sophomore. I just gained all of college into my body. So, so it wasn't a good look. So what ended up happening was I hired a personal trainer and started to lose weight and had a goal of wanting to try out to be on the New York Jets cheerleading squad. So started training and found this really great hip hop dance fitness class and was obsessed with it. The teacher had like 70 plus people in it. And I was like, this is amazing. So great. What ended up happening was we started talking because he was like, I love your style. You're a great dancer. And I was like, well, I love this class, but you literally have no social media whatsoever. And this is about like 6-7 years ago. I'm like, you have no website, no social media, no branding, nothing. So what ended up happening was I hopped on as a partner and really started to brand and work on his business and ended up becoming a co-founder of what is now called Karbunka. So I worked on the behind the scenes, on the branding, the marketing, but then also became very into the teaching and training of the instructors. And we were able to really launch that into doing 3 DVDs, touring United States and Korea. What else? We were on Jillian Michaels' Sweat Inc. So really cool, amazing accomplishments. But at one point I got probably about 4 years into the business, I just felt like I wasn't getting my voice heard. I felt that he was really overshadowing me. He is a very strong presence, male presence, and I just felt like I didn't know who I was as a person. And at this point, I still had regular color hair, brown hair, and you know, I started to really think about who I was as a person and a brand, and slowly started having that transformation come about of who I was, who I wanted to represent. I had a lot of different, I remember this one time we had an investor who came up to us who actually said that I should just stay behind the scenes because he's 75%. He's like, he's so much better than you are. Like you should just stay behind the scenes. And then I had another investor when we were about to go in, you know, of course, like I'm very excited, right? He shakes his hand. He's like, nice to meet you, but looks at me and doesn't even shake my hand. And he goes, oh, are you the secretary? Oh, you could just sit down here. Yeah. So after those 2 moments, I said to myself, this is not happening, right? With those claps. And I was like, no way. And the transformation started to become something so important. So I ended up leaving Karbunka for a little bit just to really rediscover who I was as a person. And that's where NikkiPebbles.com came and where my social media strategy and coaching started to come about, because I didn't want other women, especially female entrepreneurs, to feel that feeling of not knowing who they are as a brand, right? It comes down to being confident in yourself. If you don't know who you are, I don't care how good your logo or your colors look. No one is hiring you because no one knows your story. No one knows who you are. And I really teach people how to own that because I went through that. So now I'm back onto Karbunka as co-founder again because I know who I am. I'm sitting strong in it because I'm able to make those decisions again because, hello, I'm me, you know what I mean? I'm not playing under anyone's shadow. And then I'm able to have my 2 other businesses and help other women achieve their goals, achieve their brands, and be confident within themselves. So, yeah.
Wow. My mind just like exploded from that, Nikki. You know that I adore you so much from like the very beginning, how you and I first just connected on social media. And there was just something like there's a bunch of people always on social media and online. You know that you and I come from the same space as to how we organically grow our businesses. So I know you really speak that language. But there was always the same people saying the same stuff over and over and over again. But there was always something about you that stood out. It's just that authenticity, that realness. And there's not a lot of people that just jump on live stream and they're like, hey, everyone dance now. And then just kind of go crazy and not caring. And the only person that I know aside from me is my business partner, Jeannie.
Yes, I know.
So who's right next to me right now.
Hey,
Yeah, the two of you have to connect, all of you guys. So oh yeah, that's right.
yeah.
And so it's really, really admirable how you go about, not even just about your business, but how you go about your life. And I know that business is such a huge component of your life, but you spread such a beautiful and positive message all the time that you allow people just to be themselves solely by you showcasing it and by leading through example. So my question for you, Nikki, is what was really that turning point, right? And I know that you sort of touched upon it, but what was really that turning point when you said, okay, I'm going to turn this now into a brand because I want to serve others so that they never feel like this? Or, what was it that said, green light, go, Nikki Pebbles, boom?
So what ended up happening, that really big turning point, was I had a huge argument with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just screaming at each other because, as we all know, when you start to feel underappreciated within a business partner, within a business, you start to pull back. And I really just felt unappreciated and my voice wasn't being heard. And it was like the inner me was like just dying inside because I was frustrated within myself because I wasn't showing up the way that I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And he just said to me, he was like, this is all your fault. Like, this is all your fault. And I just had it. I said to myself, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. And I got up. I mean, there was a couple more curse words thrown in there. I definitely a lot more curse words thrown in there. But yeah, I mean, basically he was just like, I can't do this. And I said, I can't do this either. And I just got up and I left and I went to Starbucks and I went on Squarespace and I made my own website. Like it was like that. It was wow. That instant. Like literally 25 minutes later, I was at Starbucks because I knew that the reason why it wasn't working was because I wasn't being showcased as myself. Yeah. I was being shadowed because I was too scared to show up myself. So it really took me developing who I was as a person. And I had to sit there over a delicious cup of coffee to figure that out. And just from that point on, I just made sure that I showed up. Social media played such a large part in building my following and my business, in showing up consistently as who I am and learning lessons that I taught myself to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to go back and thank him now and say, thank you for hitting my on switch.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
What you did.
Absolutely. And I'm thankful for that happening, for all of those different situations for happening. Because it really was just the universe trying to slap me across the face, being like, wake up, you are able, like you are light, like wake up and be yourself. And I think so many people are scared of that. So many people don't like themselves. I've spent years not liking myself, years with eating disorders, years with looking in the mirror saying, I hate the way I look. And it had nothing to do with my weight. It had everything to do with my mindset. And once I kind of got over that and taught myself that no matter what weight I'm at, no matter what I look like, I'm still powerful. I'm still able to make magic. That's when that transition happened. And that's when I was able to show up and be exactly who I'm supposed to be, which is this.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I have like goosebumps on my arms, like listening from Crystal and then to you. And I'm just like, these are my girlfriends. This is amazing. Nikki Pebbles, everyone. Oh my goodness. Nikki, thank you so much for sharing your story. I know, just like Crystal, there are a ton of different layers, but you just provide such a powerful message in the world, and I'm extremely blessed to know you and thankful that you are a part of this show and a part of this panel. Definition of a powerhouse.
Thank you. Well, I love you guys very much, and I appreciate you all so much. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we have Mr. Jason Grant, who is
Woo!
CEO
Hello,
of
hello.
UX Coach. Shows you how to design your entire company and succeed in business. And another amazing person who the very essence of their business is to help other people, and that's what Powerhouse is all about, is sharing what we know, what you guys know, to help other people, and we love that. And thank you very much, Jason, for being here tonight and coming to us live from UK, just like Diana. So
Thank you very much.
take it away, Jason.
Yeah, so I actually wrote down a statement here, which I'm not sure if you guys are going to agree with, but I'm going to say anyway. It says, if you think I look good here, you should see how amazing I look in real life. So if anything, if anything, if anything in life I've suffered from too much self-confidence, almost cockiness. So I've had to tame down over the years, and maybe partly this is because I originally come from a country called Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's a very small country with 4.2 million people, but we're generally very self-confident people, I find. And I grew up in Bosnia up until the age of 15, and for those of you who sort of followed the news and so on, you will know that like Bosnia went through a war between the years of 92 to 95, and I spent pretty much all that time in the war, and survived it happily. And war taught me about so many things about human psychology and nature, and how humans can be your best friend and neighbor one day, and then start, turn on you and start killing your family, literally in this case. So war has taught me lots and lots of things, including entrepreneurship. I've always been entrepreneurial from a very young age. I remember trying to sell some strip comics in Bosnia. That didn't go well. And then my dad and I pivoted to selling matches, and that went really well. So that quickly taught me about the power of selling and sort of befriending people in a way, not just in a kind of my natural way, but also that it's actually good for business. And I sort of probably quite early on caught that bug of being entrepreneurial and understanding that entrepreneurship and business owning is much better way to live life than sort of just working for someone else. I actually came to UK as a refugee in 1995, so I was about 15 years of age, and not knowing a word of English, I went to the worst secondary school here, then survived that. There I built some communities as well around music, around all sorts of things. All my life I've been interested in all sorts of things like ancient history, various religions, politics, defense industry, and really in all of that, architecture, art, all these things. And throughout my life, I've realized that one thing that unifies all those interests that I have is design. All those things are designed, like weapons are designed, buildings are designed, even artists design, but they design mostly for themselves. And so this kind of I got into technology as well and computer programming, and then realized that programmers design video games and so on. And in this case, they've created this app that brings us together in this wonderful way. So in London, I was exposed to one of the most wonderful cities that really kind of blends all that together into one giant melting pot of art, design, architecture, all sorts of different projects and programs. I studied business management at the master's degree after my computer science, and at my master's degree, one of the biggest takeaways was from a module in corporate governance, actually, and corporate structures, which talked about the kind of the future of corporations, right? And the previous speakers touched on this point where they sort of left their jobs or didn't feel happy. This subject has been studied for a long, long time by very, very smart PhD professors. And, you know, they predicted way back in 2003 that corporations are going to flatten in their structure from sort of 32 layers that they used to have, where you could become a CEO from starting as a janitor, to, you know, now being flat companies, and actually companies where most people become entrepreneurs because that's the only way they can actually progress in life. So what you're seeing in your lives is actually a very predicted thing from way back in the day by management scientists. And, you know, there's no other way for any one of us to go than down this kind of self-sustainable entrepreneurial route. And so this, my realization, so I set up my own company, you know, straight after finishing my master's degree, because I realized, hold on a second, if entrepreneurship is the future of companies, right, I better position myself as an entrepreneur straight away rather than hide in some sort of big corporation and try and learn by being managed by someone else. So I set up my own company and started working for myself way back then. So I've been a solopreneur for last more than 10 years. And, you know, as you know, as I made this remark before on Periscope, you know, a refugee boy ended up designing UK government and various big banks like HSBC, Amex, Lloyds, and now I'm just finishing off some project, which is a company called Goldex, which is a gold trading platform. So, you know, and so I've worked with the biggest corporations in the world. And, you know, and I've seen people, you know, who are really struggling, they're droning, you know, working without any sort of soul put into what they do. And all this has inspired me to start a company called UX Coach, which is about coaching people design thinking, which is the ultimate skill set that has inevitably led me to be a person that I am at the age of 35. So we're coaching people design thinking, which is a unified skill set that enables you to design anything you put your mind to, whether it's yourself, your family, your future self, your company, your network, etc. You can design all these things, including your body. So Crystal's talking about being, you know, a model, swimwear model. You know, that requires designing, and so this is what we're setting out on the mission of, to coach 1 billion people design thinking. Because if people are actually made aware of the fact that they can design everything, that's really going to empower them to live in this future that's been predicted way back by management scientists, where everyone is a self-empowered design thinker and able to really contribute to the world that we all want to live in, and stop designing so many nuclear weapons and start designing things that really build and create our future sustainable humanity for our children and grandchildren. And so, you know, I've had to tame down my self-confidence to some extent to pass this message along to a broader number of people, because I've never really allowed anyone to sort of tell me what I should do. If anything, you know, I've been my own biggest self-critic and perhaps my biggest enemy. And, you know, I must sort of thank Diana for coaching me out of that and making me realize that, you know, the only person that can really stop me from doing whatever I want to do is myself. You know, I was my own biggest enemy, and you know, I'm no longer that. And I literally see that whatever I put my mind to comes to fruition, not just like the way I put my mind to, but usually like 100 times more than I could ever wish for. So that's really what I'm on a mission on. And really, it's, for me, it's less about talking about myself and talking about us as collective, you know, humanity, that we're all going through our own story, and not so much even like, you know, embracing my own story, because I think that can sometimes be limiting. You know, sometimes I joke with people and say, oh, I'm just a little Bosnian refugee boy, you know, and they say like, oh, well, don't say that. So there's always that like danger that you can embrace your own narrative too much to that it can, sort of limit you from achieving omnipotent power that you have internally inside yourself. So that's what I'm on a mission of. On a mission of, and I feel like I'm living a second life because my dad died at the age of 70. I'm 35 now, so I feel I've got another lifetime's worth of wise living, and I'm determined to make the most of it.
Holy smokes! Ian, you want to say something? Wow.
I just think that it's an incredible story, and we have Nikki, who says she's never liked herself in the past, and one day just enough was enough, and said, wait a minute, I am this person that's going to do these wonderful things. Stop limiting me. And you have Jason, who always knew he had that power inside of him, and Crystal, who went through that tough beginning of life, saying, I've had enough. This has to change. And all three of your stories, and what do you end up doing? You end up helping people in your businesses, and it's incredible. I just love it. But yeah, I mean, Jason, you dropped so many nuggets and so much awesome knowledge about business and the way it's going now, and you've got a handle on it. And I appreciate that. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always humbling when the Jason Grant gives me like a quick shout out, because in all reality, guys, this man is my mentor and coach. And now you can understand why, because his mind is just so brilliant, and he's been able to expand my mind, my heart, and how I see life. And it's just been such an honor and blessing to be here in London and really shadowing and learning from him. And when Ian and I decided to join and get this show, The Powerhouse, going, we just wanted to bring incredible individuals such as these three right here, not really with any same backgrounds or anything. We're like, hey, let's just do a social experiment of bringing three motivating, incredible human beings together, and let's see what happens. And what I'm feeling right now, just listening to all of your stories, hearing your stories of empowerment and successes in addition to the struggles, and then your victories from it, it's just pure magic. It's magic. It's like from last week when we had Sil, Frank, and Jeannie, and now that we have this week, the three of you guys, I mean, I'm just completely floored. I'm learning. My mind has just alone on this show has already expanded. So thank you guys so much for being here. If all three of you don't mind jumping off of the microphone, I'd love to have a panel discussion going on. And for all of the audience members, you guys are here. Please go ahead and type in any questions that you have for anyone individually or as a whole. So Ian, if you want to go kick off the questions, by all means. Crystal, you're still off the mic. Okay, perfect.
So Crystal,
Hi.
can you talk a little bit more about what? So you're going to take fitness and teach others that felt the same way as you, or looking for something. Is that your direction?
That's exactly the direction that I want to go. I feel that obviously education is the most powerful thing anyone can provide to anyone about anything. And the more that we realize that we are responsible for not only our well-being, our physical bodies, but it touches on our mental well-being also. I mean, I always said when I was training, yeah, it was difficult to work out physically. I was so tired, and I really had a hard time sometimes eating the same things. But the hardest thing about my goals and reaching them was to literally have to get up and show up and not give up every single day.
Wow.
That's the key. It does not matter if you finish a set of anything, if you end up, screwing up one day and then you're like, you know what, F it, I'm just going to eat a candy bar. Well, you got to keep going. It doesn't matter. That mental capacity is like ridiculous. And so there's some bread.
Oh, hi, whoever has that on the bread, if you don't mind.
Just like that bread. You cannot
turn
eat that
off
bread
that,
even if it's on your face.
microphone.
No
That's
problem.
so funny. Who is that? Who's that?
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
Anyway,
Hi,
so
Sandy. Sandy, if you can turn off your hold on.
You should be able to do it, Diana, on your end.
Oh, Ian, can you do it on your end? Can you mute
Oh, sure.
Sandy, please? Nope. Ian,
Yeah, I'm looking. Hold on a second.
you could just go under participants and then have the microphone on.
Oh, okay.
So funny.
Thank you. I'm still learning.
So guys, yeah. That's so funny.
but yes, to finish your question, Ian, I feel that taking that direction is super important because, there's only so many doctors we can blame and pills we can pop for our ailments before we realize, hey, maybe I should stop eating like shit every day, or maybe I need to get up off my ass and do something. I mean, it's that simple. You just, it sounds so silly and it's ridiculous, but you just have to do it. And when someone realizes that, I mean, it's limitless what they're capable of. You just gotta do it, no matter what.
Thank you, Crystal. So I have a question for all three of you powerhouses right now. And this is something that I had asked in my Facebook group earlier this week, but I'm not going to ask you guys in this verbatim. What would you say to your, I'm going to say even 18-year-old self now?
Well, I think, just for starters, I think I had said something like, don't listen to anyone else. Just do what you need and want to do. I know at 18 years old, I was so focused on pleasing everyone around me that I felt that I needed that acceptance among my friends and my family. And it would, it was almost like I would just go so far out of my way to, do what they wanted me to do as opposed to what I wanted to do. And it really just put me so far behind.
Thank you.
I would probably say kind of similar to what Crystal just said, more so just like, do you. And I used to hate that saying. I used to hate that saying because so many people would say it to me and I would be like, what does that even mean? That's not even proper English. Like, what does that mean? But at 18, I was so focused on making sure my boyfriend was happy, making sure my parents were happy, making sure everyone else was happy. I was always putting other people ahead of me. And I was so scared of the result of someone being mad at me, someone not being happy with my decisions, that it literally just altered everything that I was doing. So it wasn't until I got older that I was like, yes, I am going to do me. Thank you very much. And I had no problem even saying it. So I think if I could go back to being 18 and talking to myself, it would be exactly that. Do you. Do not care what anyone has to say and just do you.
I love that.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's funny how, something that was shared with us in like our early childhood comes sort of full circle.
Yeah.
Right, when there's a lot of experience and now context and I guess struggles, if you will, of life that comes along, and you're like, yes, okay, that makes a lot more sense now, but it didn't before.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, Nikki, my beautiful doll, Nikki. Jason, would you like to add into that? What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
So I would probably say something slightly different to the other speakers, which is serve more people through a scalable business model. So continue doing you, but serve more people through a scalable business model.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
That's excellent. That's awesome. Well, what about you, Diana? What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Oh my gosh, Ian put me on less. Okay.
She'd probably, I know what she would say. She would say, "You're perfect. Continue doing exactly what you're doing. You're perfect as you are."
I've always been like, yes, you go, girl. Like, speak to myself in the mirror. And hold on one second. Hey guys, on Facebook Live, thank you so much for being here. We have an incredible powerhouse. Please share this up with your followers because the message that they have been sharing tonight has been non-stop fire. So thank you for being here. So the question is, what would you say to your 18-year-old self? I think that's a good question. Jeannie, you want to get in this? What would I say to my
No cheating.
Answer my question. Okay, so the one thing that I would really say to my 18-year-old self is to start earlier. Because for me, I always thought that I had to be in a certain position before I can work on Wall Street. I had to be in a certain position before I had to start a business. I had to be in a certain position or in my life in order to accept and to receive love. And so for me, I felt like there were so many missed opportunities. I don't live in regret, but there were so many missed opportunities where I could have moved things a lot further and I would have accelerated had I not given into fear, had I not saying, okay, I'm just going to follow societal norms. Nikki, like you were saying before, right? You always want to appease your family and just do the right thing and say, okay, I need to go to this job. I have to go to college and going that straight and narrow path and feeling almost pressured and backed against the wall. And then what ends up happening is that you're doing something that you're so miserable in. And so for a long time, like what Crystal said, I was eating shit sandwiches for years. And if I would have just started exactly when I had an idea or when I was extremely motivated and I didn't wait a decade to get it to do it, I know that I'd be in a different position. But now I know with that knowledge, I can take that motivation and tell people two things that I always leave off with: start starting yesterday. Okay, Ian, what about you?
Well, I answered that question on the Doll Mastermind. It was
Yes.
a simple answer, and it's everything's going to be okay. And that's exactly what I would need to hear when I was 18 years old, because like most entrepreneurs, I was going through a lot of stuff. I went through a lot of stuff for a long time before I had that on switch and hit that moment. So yeah, that's what I would need. I would need this older me to come back and say, hey, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that so funny how that works? Because I can just remember being that 18-year-old mindset and everything was such a big deal.
Yeah.
Like everything. And it just is hilarious now to think back about it.
Yep.
I love that.
It was so funny. I was on the train the other day, and there was these three girls who were still in high school, probably 18, and I was sitting next to them and they were talking about college and freaking out about college and loans and stuff. And I didn't want to be that like creepy old lady, but like and I turned around.
We are totally the creepy old lady.
And I turned around and I was like, I really don't want to interrupt your conversation, and please don't. I know, but listen, if I could just give my 2 cents on this, because I think especially at that age, it's so important to educate 18-year-olds. They're bringing on thousands upon thousands of debt, right, into that.
Horrible.
And here's the thing, like, Gary Vaynerchuk, I love Gary Vaynerchuk, and he talks so much about this. And I know for me, like, I'm not even doing what I went to school for.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who are in thousands upon thousands of dollars of debt for their bachelors. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why, if I could help them, and I was like, girls, go to community college, go to a SUNY school, go to a state school, do what you love, and then peace out. Or don't even do it. Get an internship. Like, I literally went on for like a half an hour with these girls, and they probably thought I was freaking crazy, but whatever. I don't care.
Good for you. No, good for you. I love that, because that ties into what Jason was saying, is to serve as many people. And that's exactly what you did, Nikki. Serve. And that's the one thing of like why I really love the Powerhouse, is because every single one of you has the same message across all platforms, is to serve and get your message out there. And you all deliver it so powerfully. So powerfully. So we're gonna wrap this up. Can you just each and every single one of you here on the panel, can you just give like your biggest takeaway, your biggest motivation and your biggest takeaway that you can share with our audience?
Sure. I feel like even having an opportunity to be amongst such powerful entities and beautiful humans, I just adore every last one of you. And I feel like it really creates this extra like energy to give you, or to give me, the unbounded confidence of like, I'm literally going to do anything I want to do. And to hear it coming from so many different people, it just like, I'm not the only one. And you get caught up in society, the expectations that society has for you versus what you truly have inside of you is night and day. And you guys are my sunshine.
Oh, I'm gonna jump in the screen. Love it. I feel like singing like a duet with you now. Like,
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Right? And then Nikki Pebbles is gonna be in the front, like dancing and killing it. So that's what she does.
And then Jason on the piano.
And then Ian and I are just on the mic, like check 2 1 2. You know.
Rapping.
I want to hear Jason rap. That's my life goal.
Could you imagine? Jason, go drop a beat for us.
That's true. Let's do it.
Jason, what's your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway is that all this conversation has been about how other people have led us down the path of what we didn't want to be in. And now we have realized that we have this power. And, a lot of people are like, well, be an influencer, be a thought leader. Actually, what I'm saying is be leader. So now it's actually our time to lead others down the path that we would have liked to have been led when we were following.
I love that.
That was good. Thank you, Jason.
End of thought.
He's short and sweet.
I know. Love it. Let me just pick up all these mics you just dropped. Nikki?
I think the biggest takeaway is that you have to be the CEO of your own life, whether that means that you own a business or you don't. I think overall, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you have a 9-to-5, if you own your own business, whatever you are the CEO of your own life. And I think we can all agree that no matter everything that we've went through, it just becomes into trusting yourself, right? I think too many times we don't trust ourselves, and that's where the doubt comes in. That's where holding ourselves back comes in. And to quote my wonderful Beyonce, because I have to.
You have to.
The quote, I love this quote. It's actually on my phone, and she said that I don't usually like to gamble, but if I'm going to gamble on one thing, it would be myself. And it always hit me so powerfully because it's so true. You have to gamble on yourself. You have to trust yourself enough, no matter what the decision is, no matter what you're going to do, that you know yourself best, and you just got to go, and you just got to jump, and you just got to do it.
Can I just make one more point? Nikki said you be CEO of your own life. You don't have to run a business. but I'd actually just say your life is your own business.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing. Amazing. Another incredibly fired up episode of the Powerhouse. Wow, Ian, like, what? I'm speechless. What are your thoughts on this? Just, geez.
I'm just incredibly humbled that, I mean, such, three amazing spirits, four including you, are
Five,
here
including
tonight,
you.
and just the love they have for humanity, that they will share what they've learned to help other people, and that is so much more precious than any gold or diamonds. And love you guys. You are precious, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Definitely
much
a
for
my
being part of the Powerhouse, sharing your message, and most importantly, just sharing your love, because that's really what it's about. And what Ian said before is that we live in this world where we need to put more faith in humanity, and that starts with us just being able to exemplify it towards one another. So thank you guys for just being that prime example, and I'm so appreciative of you. I'm honored to know you, let alone have you be at my corner and for me to be at yours. And again, thank you so much for being part of the Powerhouse. That's our time. Tune in next week and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more Powerhouses. Love you guys. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.